What connects French architect Paul Gourdin with the historical center of Almaty? Why is the Jarkent Mosque the single surviving work of Chinese architect Han Pike? Where is Valihanov's manor house, Serenbet, located? Forgotten names and recondite facts, contemporary history and national color, all this in the Grand Buildings program. New Faces of Kazakhstan Architecture, Perfectionism and Minimalism of the White Line Project by Ravil Nurgisa. Bridge in parametric form, square of suitcases and park of illusions from capital's urban architect Ashat Saduov. Designer Asa Nigmasheva's interpretation of Little Prince. The building of Hotel Kazakhstan is a unique historical monument of Almaty. This first skyscraper was erected in a seismically dangerous city. For 40 years, it has been a real symbol of the city. It has 26 floors and it is 102 meters high. It has been the highest building of the southern capital for more than 2 decades. Now there are more buildings that are much higher, but the hotel still attracts the admiring glances of architectural fans.
When
you think of France, you think of the Eiffel Tower. If you think of Almaty, the building of Hotel Kazakhstan and the TV tower on Koktebe immediately come to mind. This is the architect's main achievement, that he was able to build such a building which is associated with the city. Ravil Nurgisa is a new name among talented Kazakh architects. A month ago, he graduated from university, but for more than a year, the leading foreign architectural bureaus are interested in his projects, White Line and Villa Dream. Customers from the United States and Russia are offering a fresh-out-of-college person to realize his ideas outside of Kazakhstan. Ravil remembers that it was not easy at first to get high praise from foreign professionals.
Когда я учился в третьем курсе в академии здесь, я начал отправлять свои проекты. То есть тогда я уже...
When I was in my 3rd year in college, I started sending my projects. At the time, these were good projects. I sent them to different architectural bureaus, but I didn't get a response. I waited for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, but they never replied. And one evening, I looked through some projects and saw my project. I saw that I have been published. I was in shock then. I even screamed in excitement that I have been published.
Я вообще тогда был в шоке. Прям кричал: «О, меня опубликовали там».
Project White Line took a bit more than 3 months. One problem, the use of software of 3D visualization. The best specialists from Ukraine, Russia, and Europe advised Ravil. He had to work day and night. He drew every detail thoroughly. Through trial and error, an ideal result was achieved, after which he woke up famous.
Следующий день на утро я зашел в Google и еще раз хотел увидеть свой проект, написал там Ravil, а там уже не только этот самое популярное.
The next morning, I searched the web and saw my project not only in one popular magazine, but others that I have never heard of. These were publications from Russia, from Turkey, and Europe. They all had a similar information. I read some comments. I read a lot about my project. It was the best day that I had in my life.
Очень много. Все я прочитал тогда. И вообще самый лучший день тогда у меня было вообще в жизни, да, так скажем.
His credo is minimalism. Therefore, a perfectionist by nature, Ravil Nurgisa created the project White Line both for himself and for connoisseurs of conceptualism. The main accents of the project are the lack of fences in the building and the panoramic windows from floor to ceiling. Ravil believes that houses without fences are the first step to a trusting relationship.
Я не хотел туда заборы ставить.
I didn't want to put fences there. I wanted to develop a house with no neighbors around. Only you and maybe your girlfriend, alone with mountains.
Ну, с девушкой и все.
The Center of Art, Architecture and Design in Astana is a diploma project of Ravil. It is based on the parametric architecture. There are no sharp corners, only smooth, curved lines. Complex architectural forms coexist with well-thought-out designs. A young architect came up with the idea on his own, and the teachers of the university helped with planning and drawings.
Это будет находиться в центре реки Ишима, где река Ишим.
This will be in the center of the Ishim River, where the Ishim River divides the city in two parts. There I found a small island right in the center, and I want to build my project there. In general, I'm a fan of the architect Zaha Hadid. I've been following her work for a very long time. I studied her every project, and I wanted to create something similar, to continue the parametric architecture.
Каждый проект я изучал и хотел что-нибудь то же самое, как она, сделать, то есть продолжить параметрическую архитектуру.
The future object was developed with the help of the latest computer programs on architectural modeling. Ravil remembers that it was not easy to learn how to design not just a rectangular building, but a moving form. He spent 6 months studying the subtleties of software skills. The design took also 6 months.
Сложности в Казахстане, думаю, в конструкцию, то есть они не сможешь сделать здесь, то есть надо будет заказать.
The main difficulty in Kazakhstan is that I think it is difficult to implement some things here. It will be necessary to order the basic load-bearing skeletons of the building in Europe or in China. There, they cut the structure with 3D printer. That's how they do it. We do not have it here in Kazakhstan yet, and the difficulty will be only in developing the design and to collect ordered parts here. Perhaps specially trained engineers will be needed. It is quite realizable.
И собрать здесь, наверное, потребуются специальные специалисты, то есть инженеры. Вот. А так вполне реализуемо.
Ravil wants to build his project of parametric form, Center of Art, Architecture and Design in Astana. He already exhibited his project to participate in the competition of one of the largest construction companies in the country. In the meantime, Ravil with pleasure walks through the city squares and dreams of new modern approaches in the architecture of Kazakhstan. For architect Askhad Sadov, the territory of Expo 2017 is the most urbanized area of Astana. Everything here is in its place, and large-scale structures and well-thought-out streets of the Expo town. In his professional opinion, the area of 175 hectares of the international exhibition is used rationally with mathematical precision.
Начиная от геймплана, то, как организовано пространство, как продуманы человеческие потоки.
I like the entire general plan, the way it is organized, how people are going to walk around, the distribution of the pavilions themselves. Everything is well thought out. Clearly, the central dominant is a sphere. The streets of the Expo town or the Expo village are very well worked out. These are residential complexes that were built for exhibition participants. Streets are located close to each other. The mid-rise buildings are more comfortable for people. They create a cozy urban atmosphere.
Такой человеческий масштаб, невысокие здания, и что создает правильную, уютную атмосферу городскую.
Askhad Sadov believes that cozy urban atmosphere of the Expo village is a vivid example of the capital of Kazakhstan itself. He has lived in Astana for more than 16 years and knows all the nuances of local development. For example, on the left bank of Yesil River, there is a problem with large distances. Often to get to the necessary building, you need to walk half a kilometer. A large number of squares give the city a visual effect of spaciousness, but this is not always convenient for residents.
Это то, я бы сказал, чего нам, наверное, на сегодняшний день так не хватает, как структурного подхода в городе. Если вы сравните левый и правый берег.
This is what the city needs the most, the structural approach to the city. If you compare the left and the right bank has a human-friendly planning of streets, where there are small distances from one intersection to crossroads. It is also very convenient for drivers in terms of distribution of traffic flows. The closer the streets, the more rational is the distribution of traffic. When we make the distance between the streets very long, this causes traffic jams, inconvenience for people in terms of pedestrian accessibility. Expo Town from this point of view was planned very convenient.
Здесь именно экспо-городок был продуман с этой точки зрения очень грамотно.
Very soon, Expo 2017 facilities will receive a second life. The International Financial Center Astana will be located here. Up to 15,000 people will work here. With the support of the capital's urbanization center during the year, the town itself will be partially rebuilt. There will be recreational areas as well as new central entrance.
Мы хотели бы видеть здесь такую значимую аллею с каким-то элементом паблик-арта, чтобы это было идентикой финансового центра. И таким хорошим.
We would like to see here some significant alley with some element of public art that will become an identity card of financial center. It will create a good public space. People could have a rest, then we plan to build urban buildings on both sides of the alley. And I think it will be a popular square in this part of the city. The main central element we see is the symbol of the International Financial Center. A small park or an alley will be built around it. Accordingly, there will be buffer zones. I want to see all the biodiversity of plants, trees, maybe even fruit trees. Fruit trees look beautiful when they bloom in the spring.
Ну и, соответственно, будут буферные зоны. Хочется видеть все биоразнообразие посадочного материала, какие-то деревья, фруктовые, может быть, даже плодовые деревья, которые вот красиво выглядят в цвете весной.
New pedestrian bridge across the river Yusil, another child of Askhad Saduov and his colleagues from the Urbanization Center of Astana. The architectural structure connects the neighborhood Samal with the Central Park and amphitheater. This is a classic bridge built on supporting structures. Its capacity is calculated for the accumulated flow on the right bank. The main goal is to give Astana citizens an opportunity to quickly reach the park.
Необходимость моста, она очевидна, потому что у нас...
The need for a bridge is obvious because the Riverwalk is the most actively used public space in the city, and we should have provided the pedestrians with an easy and convenient access to the park. We proposed this form, and it was supported by the City Council. This project was realized. The Council was presented with 5 projects, and they chose our development.
В общем, порядка 5 концепций, и выбрали нашу.
The central part of the bridge, hanging over the water, is somewhat wider. Here, the project provides a public space with a selfie zone and commercial facilities. A special attention was paid to lovers of outdoor activities. A bike path will pass through the bridge, which will connect the streams of the left and right banks. The total length of the architectural structure is 315 meters. The weight of the metal, 2,000 tons. It is covered with a decorative ceiling of about 2,500 petals. By the way, the design of each petal is original.
Материал алюминий, чешуя, да, это алюминиевые кассеты.
The material we used is aluminium. Scales are made of aluminium cassette and aluminium sheet. It is not a composite, not alucarbond. This is a high-grade quality aluminium with powder paint. Sufficiently durable material, it doesn't burn out in the sun. The amphitheater and the bridge share the same color.
Слоновая кость.
The specifics of the Atarau region were taken into account in the bridge architecture. After all, this object is a gift of the region to the 20th anniversary of Astana, and the focus was on the structure, which personifies the scales of a sturgeon.
Ну, та чешуистость и отверстие, рисунок отверстия, он тоже не случайен.
This cassette and drawing holes are not accidental. This way, we differentiate them from large to small. People at the bottom could see the horizon and the river. At the top, the holes are much smaller in order to protect people from the sun and from other natural aspects of climate.
Более мелкие отверстия для того, чтобы защищать от солнца и от атмосферных воздействий.
When designing the bridge, the principles of parametric architecture were used. The drawing of cells and holes in the shell is created completely with the help of the latest computer technologies. It has its own particular aesthetics. Also, decorative elements have become part of the functionality of the structure.
Можно говорить, что вот именно вот эти природные формы как бы использованы в стиле биотек.
You can say that these natural forms are used in the biotech style. They were borrowed from nature. The form has smooth lines as if it has desire for movement. Therefore, in contrast to high-tech, which refers to the elements of constructivism and cubism, here on the opposite, some natural motifs and a rather fashionable trend in architecture are used.
И достаточно такое трендовое направление в архитектуре.
Today, the Urbanization Center, under the leadership of Askhad Saduov, is working on new projects. During this year, several of them will be implemented in Astana. The first is the waiting area near the railway station. It is called the Square of Suitcases. The end of the nearest 9-story building will be used in this project. Its wall will be decorated with graffiti. The art object should become one of the calling cards of the capital.
Подробно про сквер чемоданов могу сказать, что мы заложили там скульптуры вот такие вот из чемоданов, где...
If we will talk about the Square of Suitcases in detail, I can say there will be sculptures in the form of suitcases, where each suitcase will have an inscription of different region. Every citizen will be able to find his hometown, and we thought that this idea could be interesting. It will be a selfie zone. You can take a photo with an inscription of your region behind you. Also, there will be creative tables for ping pong and a clock, which is such an integral attribute of the station. Canopies will be developed so that people can come here to rest and at the same time be protected from the sun. There will also be sports equipment, street furniture, children's playgrounds in the style of the railroad.
Спортивные какие-то снаряды, уличная мебель, детские площадки в тематике железной дороги.
Another project from a young urban architect of Astana, Square of Illusions. Its principle is the preservation of the natural landscape, and the division into functional zones will allow children and adults to find something interesting to do for themselves.
Ненавязчивы, они не давят. Естественно,
I like that they're light, they're soft, they do not stress you. Of course, high ceilings play a huge role, but at the same time, it is important how they're decorated. It is very crucial. It has enough of everything. I like how this building grows old. It grows old beautifully. I like that. Certainly, it became brighter, it became more beautiful, and the eye rejoices. There are a lot of architectural elements on the walls, columns, and on the facade of the building.
и на колоннах, и по фасаду здания.
Ася Nigmasheva is a graduate of the London University of Arts. Her major was design of the architectural environment. After studying without hesitation, she returned to her homeland. In Almaty, she made the first professional steps at the International Architectural Bureau under the leadership of the famous Japanese architect. Right away, she got involved in the project for the general reconstruction of this building. It was completed in 2000. Artistic style of Kazakh folk art was preserved in the interiors of the theater. New things added to the buildings are an updated molding at a foyer and a hall. There are also elements from the Golden Man clothing.
Я прилетела, устроилась на практику.
When I came back, I got a job at an architectural company, and the chief architect of this company did the restoration of this building. He was always enthusiastic about this project because he always said that I was probably touching something divine, something beautiful, something great.
Прекрасному, к чему-то великому.
As an interior design, Ася Nigmasheva notes the important role of ceiling chandeliers. The skillfully selected accessory changes the room of the theater. The lights of gold chandeliers fill the space with solemn beauty and light. They are also the core element of the color scheme on which the interior is built.
Можно сделать
You can design a very good interior. It will be very luxurious, from rich tones, from very good finishing. But you can spoil everything with light, and vice versa. You can save money on wall paint and other things. Not necessarily you will use the best materials, but you can outshine everything with light. Abay Kazakh State Academic Opera and Ballet Theater received an evening architectural illumination not so long ago. At night, the exterior elements of the building illuminate with about 300 LED lamps. Architect Asa Nigmasheva notes that thanks to the illumination, the historical building now has a modern look. It has become a popular meeting place for Almaty citizens and visitors of the city, also at night.
Наверное, наряду с красотой этого здания я очень хочу отметить часы по обе стороны.
Along with the beauty of this building, I want to mark the clock on either side of the building. They're old, they're still of Soviet style, but they're restored. They carry the architectural contribution to the environment that surrounds the building. Because the building itself may have a little meaning if there are no benches, fountains, or small squares around.
Потому что само по себе здание может мало что значить, если вокруг него нет таких важных вещей, как скамейки, лавочки, фонтан, какие-то малые архитектурные формы.
The first independent projects for a young interior designer were orders from apartment and home owners. Now her company is working on the interior of a stylized culinary studio and a family cafe. The concept is based on the philosophy of the novel Little Prince by Antoine Saint-Exupéry.
Когда я закончила школу, понятное дело, в силу своего возраста я не осознавала всю значимость этой профессии. Мне просто было интересно.
When I graduated from school, I guess because of my age, I didn't realize the importance of this profession. I was just interested in working with spaces, working with different rooms with commercial and non-commercial buildings. Now I can precisely say I do this because I can improve the functional and aesthetic life of each customer. Because it doesn't matter whether it's a house or an office or a coffee house or a restaurant. We spend a lot of time indoors, and I believe that we should get the most out of it. And it should carry the maximum semantic and functional meaning.
И максимальную смысловую и функциональную нагрузку.
Talented successors are growing to join the best Kazakh architects. Architectural projects of the younger generation certainly prove that they can compete among the best architects not only at home, but also abroad. Their work with modern approaches is based on historical experience. And it proves once again that the creative work is a dialogue of cultures and generations.